our kids to get an education, right? That's why we ask them for good grades, and why as parents we're fine with saving and putting money aside for college. But is this the right thing to focus on? The great Hyman Rickover once said, "Any system of education which does not inculcate moral values simply furnishes the intellectual equipment whereby men and women can better satisfy their pride, greed, and lust." A lot of children get good grades and go to expensive private schools and eventually make it to Ivy League universities, yet they end up being corrupt politicians or soulless business people driven by the sole purpose of turning big piles of money into even bigger piles of money. Plenty of children learn how to succeed but end up having no skills to manage this success. I think we can all agree that a good education should give our kids actual skills they can use in the real world, but more importantly, our kids need to be taught how to be good people. And in this video, I talk about 5 virtues that every child needs to learn early to live a purpose-filled and successful life. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss when I post another video. Also, the YouTube algorithm loves it when you do that and helps to push the video to more people who might benefit from this type of content. Alright, the first one, morals and ethics. There is abundant evidence around us to conclude that morals and ethics are becoming less prevalent in people's lives. Obvious signs of moral decay in the US are the prevalence of out-of-wedlock births, the breakup of families, the immorality of public education, and the eruption of criminal activity. In our desire to separate church and state, we have gone to the opposite extreme and have thrown away spiritual training from our public schools, thus depriving our kids of the lasting standard of the morals and ethics provided by, say, the 10 Commandments. God is not real anymore. The Bible is just another book on the bookshelf. Many people confuse material success in life with virtue. Everyone is trying to be rich and famous, like that's what's going to fix their problems. Yet they all walk around with a hole the size of God in their hearts. In our system of society, no authority exists to tell us what is good and desirable. We're each free to seek what we think is good in our own way. The danger when we compromise truth and let decency slip, we eventually end up with neither. A free society can survive only through men and women of integrity. When Jesus was asked about the greatest command, he had an interesting answer. The first part of Luke 10:27 says, "And he answering said, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, and with all thy mind." When we show our kids to do this, they're going to see events, situations, and other people from God's point of view, and they will respond to others in the right manner. The last part of Luke 10:27 says, "And thy neighbor as thyself." Children care if someone steals from them, and they care if someone lies to them. Therefore, they should act with honesty and integrity. When we emphasize the importance of loving and knowing God, then valuing others and how they feel will naturally follow. This is a very simple thing to do in our children's lives. That is the foundation for morals and ethics. And the next one is responsibility. It begins by simply offering help. Maybe it's tying their shoes, pouring their milk, or doing their math homework. Then we keep helping. Before long, they either expect us to help or don't believe they can do it themselves. Of course, we're supposed to help toddlers zip up their winter coats and guide sleepy kids toward their beds. We're meant to place curfews on teenagers still learning to make wise choices. But a pattern of regularly doing for kids what they can do for themselves makes them further reliant on us. Responsibility implies a commitment to self which many are not willing to make. As Rudolf Drakers said, "A dependent child is a demanding child." Children become irresponsible only when we fail to give them opportunities to take on responsibilities. It's so tempting to do things for our kids, either through generosity or even to get the task done faster. But resist this urge and encourage self-sufficiency. Start with simple tasks like making their beds or putting away toys, and gradually increase the complexity of chores as they grow older. Clearly communicate your expectations regarding chores, homework, and other responsibilities. And make sure children understand what is expected of them and what the consequences are for not fulfilling their responsibilities. Responsibility also implies a commitment to others, or as Confucius taught, each of us is meant to rescue the world. Kids need to learn early that we're responsible for this beautiful earth God gifted us with, and it's up to us to make it a better place with our actions and contributions. Show your kids the importance importance of completing tasks, of being more present, going out and volunteering. Responsibility is broad and continuous. None of us is ever free of it. Our primary job as caregivers is to move our kids from complete dependence to complete independence. If we don't, we inhibit their progress and make our lives harder. And the next one is excellence. Life is potentially an empty hole, and there are few more satisfying ways of filling it than achieving and exercising excellence. When I say excellence, I'm not merely referring to getting straight A's or racking up accomplishments. There's nothing wrong with working towards these kinds of achievements, but the pursuit of excellence is about much more than that. It's about becoming the best that you can be, cultivating a deep love for learning, and making a difference in the lives of others. Many children and teens lose motivation when they feel as though they can't live up to the expectation of those around them. This applies especially in the area of academics, because they feel strong pressure to achieve certain grades. When they don't get those grades, they become discouraged. To enable your children to regain focus and motivation, emphasize that education isn't primarily about getting good grades. Instead, it's about acquiring the skills and knowledge that will allow them to contribute more effectively. By focusing on contribution rather than achievement, your children will find greater purpose in their education. This will make it more likely that they pursue excellence. As the saying goes, leaders are readers. In fact, I don't know a single successful person who doesn't read at least 10 books a year. Reading widely exposes you to new perspectives and ideas. As you read, share with your children the interesting things you're learning. This will spark in them a love for learning, which is the foundation of excellence. It doesn't matter what your occupation is. You can work towards becoming a master at something. As your children observe you attending seminars, taking online courses, and reading books, they'll be inspired to pursue excellence. And the next one is creativity. Creativity is another of the basic principles of existence, which I believe helps to give purpose in life. The deepest joy in life is to be creative, to find an undeveloped situation, to see the possibilities, decide that you would do something about it, and then devote everything you have to see it come to life. Even if it will be a long grind filled with doubt and even self-sabotage sometimes, the satisfaction derived from seeing a creative act to completion is unlike anything else. Picasso once said, "Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once they grow up." Creativity is the freest form of self-expression. There is nothing more satisfying and fulfilling for children than to be able to express themselves openly and without judgment. Turns out it's less about teaching creativity to children and more about creating a fertile environment in which their creativity will take root, grow, and flourish. Art supplies like paints, crayons, and clay allow them to express their ideas visually. Building blocks can help them understand spatial relationship. Musical instruments can introduce them to the world of sounds and rhythms. The key is to provide resources that are open-ended and can be used in multiple ways. Encourage your child's natural curiosity by fostering a learning environment where questions are welcomed and exploration is encouraged. Take nature walks and discuss the different plants and animals you see. Experiment with simple science projects at home. Visit museums or historical sites and talk about what you've learned. Better yet, let them be bored. Leave them without any form of outside stimulation and allow them for free play. Let them explore the backyard, make mud pies, collect sticks, or just lay there and let their minds run wild. And the next one is perseverance. A lot of people get a rush of motivation and are quick to start a new project they're sure will change the world. And when they find out how deaf the world is, they withdraw. All of a sudden, they're questioning their ambition. There is more friction and deadlines start to get pushed. Finally, the big goal disappears and all kinds of excuses are justified. Imagine how this might play out in the real world. The place where your child needs to take risks, whether applying for college, interviewing for jobs, or bidding on their very first home. They'll need to have some endurance. There's going to be a lot of failed attempts, and you don't want real life to be the first time your child faces some pushback. This can be very devastating. Perseverance is not about perfection. Perfection actually causes kids a lot of anxiety. Some kids are so locked into the fear of failure that they don't even try. To help kids overcome this when they're independent adults, focus on the quality of their efforts while they're still under your roof. If your son studied hard for his biology biology test and still got a C, it's the hard work he put in that counts. If your potty training toddler failed to make it to the toilet in time, her steps literally in the right direction are commendable. The result matters, and there are lessons to be learned from a win or loss, but the process is why they spend most of the time, and they need to learn to love the grind. When we laser focus on our kids' efforts and bravery, especially through their willingness to take risks, they'll be less intimidated to work hard and take chances in the future. Ideally, they'll learn not to fear failure. Perseverance is what will help them stand back up and keep fighting. It's a valuable life skill that can help them overcome challenges, work toward their goals, and develop resilience. To create, you must care. You must have the courage to speak up. To have courage means to pursue your goals or to satisfy your responsibilities even though others stand in the way and success seems like a dream. It takes courage to stand and fight for what you believe is right, and the fight never ends. You have to start it over again each morning as the sun rises. Without perseverance, this is impossible. Thank you very much for spending your precious time with me today. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment in the comment section about some virtues you have or would like to instill in your kids. The purpose of education is not to make your kids more selfish, more greedy, or more convinced of their own ideas of superiority. It's to make them better citizens, better human beings, and hopefully someday better parents themselves. You cannot lose sight of this. You cannot be deterred by the sticker price of the private school, or how long the commutes are, or the time required in, say, homeschooling. Find them the schools that teach them the things that matter, and don't let anything deter you. Kids must learn early to maintain high standards of ethics and morality, to seek out and accept responsibility, to be committed to excellence, to be creative and courageous, and to persevere. These things are non-negotiable to achieve meaning and purpose in life. I'll see you on the next one.